Hello, everybody.
GM, thank you for accepting to do this session. I can hear you.
Oh, sorry.
I thought something were broken in my end. I was like,
No, it's just my brain that's broken. That's all. Yeah, let's wait a few minutes and then get started once some more people have come in. Cool. Yeah, it's 5 past the hour, and we've got a good number of people here, so we may as well get started. Were there any plans for anybody to record this that I should be aware of?
I'm recording. I'm
Okay,
using OBS, so that's why you don't see that that's happening. But yeah, I'm doing it.
sounds good. I love OBS.
Yeah.
I feel like, yeah, I have so much trouble using Loom. The 5 minute limit really kills me. So I usually just use OBS to make videos for people myself. Um, okay, let me share a little slideshow. So first off, I should just introduce myself. My name is Joel. I am a PhD student in computer science, and my research is on voting systems, essentially. And I very luckily have been hired part-time by Gitcoin to help improve, or, whether it's an improvement or not is actually up for you guys to decide, but at least to expand the palette of quadratic funding options that we offer and ways of distributing money. So kind of my contribution to the Gitcoin ecosystem is this tool called COCM, which is like a variant of quadratic funding. And we think that it's got a few, nice properties that round operators might like, but there's also drawbacks. And it's up to you or if you're a round operator, it's up to you whether or not your round uses it. So this presentation is just to tell you guys what COCM is, why you might want to use it, and why you may not want to use it. Any questions so far? All right, cool. In that case, I will get started with the slideshow. All right. I'm trusting that everybody can see this.
Yes, loud and
Awesome.
clear.
Great. Okay, so let's get started. And hopefully this presentation will only be, I don't know, 20 minutes or so, and then we can have plenty of time for questions or just to head out early if we want. Okay, so COCM, it stands for Connection-Oriented Cluster Matching. You really don't need to know that name. And honestly, between you and me, it's a kind of opaque name. We might change the name in the future to something more easily to understand. But here it is for now, COCM. It's a quadratic funding type algorithm. So we'll cover why we chose to kind of develop this algorithm and what it is, how it works, where you use it, when you should use it, and then we'll have hopefully plenty of time for questions afterwards. Okay, so why did we even think to change quadratic funding in the first place? Well, the answer is, we all love quadratic funding, but it's pretty gameable. In the past at Gitcoin and for other folks that have used QF, we've seen problems with bots, with influencer followers and airdrop farmers flooding the voting pool, with social collusion, where devs will just donate to each other's projects. And through all of that, one kind of through line that I've noticed is that quadratic funding is often criticized as a quote unquote popularity contest. And I think digging into why that criticism is leveraged is super, super valuable to think about. Because, on first thought, when I was joining the kind of Gitcoin world, and I saw people were calling quadratic funding a popularity contest, what I thought was, hey, look, any voting system is a popularity contest, really. Like, you vote and then the thing with the most votes should win, right? Like, that's democracy for you. But I do think that these critiques of quadratic funding as a popularity contest have a lot of salience. And I think, from my conversations, what the people who leverage this critique really mean when they say popularity contest is they're essentially saying that sometimes, like, the raw number of votes isn't actually the only signal that you want to pay attention to, right? So sometimes, like, a project can have a crap ton of votes, but for whatever reason, it still might actually feel unfair to give them the lion's share of the money. And of course, this is exacerbated by the fact that in quadratic funding, kind of the way it works is that once you're already in the lead, each extra voter you get, like, multiplies your lead more and more, right? So there are these increasing returns to getting new voters that make it so that a project with a lot of voters can really run away with the matching pool in a way that might not always be great, right? Okay, so quadratic funding has these problems with gameability, and the raw number of votes might not be the only thing that you want to pay attention to, right? So to give you an example of that, here is a graph of donors and projects from a past quadratic funding round. In this little graph I've got to the right, it's a network with blue nodes as projects, red nodes as donors, and the lines connect donors to the projects they donate to, right? And so you can see down in the bottom left corner of this graph, there's a project called Crypto Babes Club. And Crypto Babes Club has a crap ton of donors. There's a bunch of people donating to Crypto Babes Club. However, there's something weird about the way this network looks, right? Like, the Crypto Babes people are only donating to crypto babes and to nothing else, right? And so whether you think that these are probably fully bot accounts or somebody just posted on Twitter and got all their followers to donate, or it's some kind of even like, you know, quote unquote human farm type situation, or, you know, whatever it is, we should kind of cock our eyebrow at this and realize that something is a little bit funny. So pretty much, by the way, COCM exactly, you know, tries to find weird patterns in the network like this and correct for them. I guess that's a bit of a spoiler for the next section. How does COCM work? Well, I just told you, but we can say a little bit more about it. One way to think about what COCM does is to say that it looks for agreement across difference. So when I say agreement, I mean people supporting a project, just like in quadratic funding or any voting system. And difference, meaning those people have different donation patterns, right? So COCM doesn't just reward a project when a lot of people vote for it. It rewards a project when a lot of people vote for it, and all of those people kind of look unique as far as their donation patterns go. And this raises the cost to attack around, since usually Sybil accounts look really similar to each other. By the way, if anybody doesn't know what a Sybil account means, if anybody's confused by that word, let me just say a Sybil account is like a bot account. Okay, so like I've kind of alluded to, under COCM, getting more voters is important, but so is getting diverse voters. Okay, so this is kind of the most technical I'll get with trying to explain how the algorithm works. But I really think that this Venn diagram does a lot to kind of explain the core intuition. So let's say that we've got a project X and we're trying to figure out how much money to give it. What we're going to do is find other projects, we can call them A and B, and we're going to kind of look at all different pairs of A and Bs that you could possibly come up with. For each choice of A and B, we're going to make one of these Venn diagrams of the donors are all three projects, and we're going to look for these green areas in the Venn diagrams, right? So these are people that have voted for X and A. We're also going to see, hey, are they people that have voted for X and B? And if both of these green areas have donors, then we're going to give money to project X. And the kind of intuition here is we're saying, hey, there are some people out there that like project A, right? There are some people out there that like project B, and people from both of these camps also happen to like project X. So that's the kind of agreement across difference that I talked about before, right? Like the difference is some people like A, some people like B. They're different in that regard, but there's agreement because they both like X. So we want to reward X for having that agreement across difference. Okay. So where do you use COCM? You can use our quadratic funding calculator. You can run COCM and QF side by side. You can access a bunch of analytics and tests and graphs and data and all that good stuff to hopefully get the best round results possible. And you can find a link to your rounds calculator inside of Manager on the round results page. And through the calculator, you can, oh, sorry, one of my headphones just fell out. Through the calculator, you can download, you know, the appropriate like round results spreadsheet to upload, you know, in the right place to either use COCM or quadratic funding. And I've got this demo here. I think actually before I go to the demo, I just want to briefly say that you can blend quadratic funding and COCM results together as well. So this is going to be really important in the next section when we start to talk about some of the drawbacks of COCM, right? Remember, you don't have to use it at all, of course, but you can also choose to blend the results together and kind of do like an average of both or a weighted average if you want to try to capture some of the good things from each of these mechanisms. Okay, so let's go to the demo. So this is the calculator page for one of the rounds from the last kind of GG event. Here you've got this drop-down menu where you can choose to blend COCM and QF together. You can do some fancy stuff with overriding the passport scaling. So this is useful, for example, if you've got people setting up like a donation through like a credit card system. They might not pass any of the passport checks, so you can kind of manually go in here and say, hey, like I want these wallets to pass through. You get all this information about the round, how much people donated, what happened with passport, right? Who passed passport, who didn't. You can compare the results under quadratic funding and COCM. You can get a graph of the connections, just like what we looked at before, of how people, how projects and donors kind of look in this network. And then finally, you get a matching distribution to download to upload to the smart contract that will do the payouts. And you get a little shareable summary here as well. Okay, so a lot of good stuff there. Now, lastly, let me talk about when you should use COCM and maybe when you should not use it. So, okay. So far, it seems like the best use case for COCM is in big, spread out communities. If your community is super tight-knit, you might not need COCM. And if you want to encourage lots of advertisement, you shouldn't use COCM, right? So I do want to be cognizant that like it can be really great to incentivize projects in your round to get out there on Twitter and really like advertise their project and try to get 1 million people to donate, right? So COCM kind of tries to lessen the impact of those types of donors on the grounds that it might give worse round results to give full priority to all those people. At the same time, if you really want to encourage your projects to have a bunch of Twitter activity, then maybe you do want to kind of show them that there can be a big reward for doing that. So, that's a reason why not to use COCM. But if you want to reward projects with broad appeal across like the whole ecosystem, we think that COCM is a really good option. So I also want to talk about maybe a trade-off that you can face using COCM as it pertains to new community members. So I should maybe have this in like red in huge letters because it's so important. Single project donors do not affect matching payouts under COCM. This wasn't really a conscious design decision by us. It was more like a thing that fell out of other properties we wanted for the algorithm, but it's super, super important to note. Now, we have caught a bunch of Sybils this way, which is fantastic, but there have also been plenty of times where very well-meaning, community members make a donation. And of course, no matter what, when you make a donation, the project is going to get your money, but people also care about the matching, right? And that's totally legit. And we've had plenty of well-meaning community members say, hey, what the heck? I donated and all of a sudden I didn't generate any matching. And usually it's because they only donated to a single project. So what does that mean in terms of onboarding new community members? Well, all of a sudden, on the one hand, it really discourages people from dropping in, just donating to their friend's project and then piecing out, right? This is why I said that COCM might not be the best option if you want to generate a lot of Twitter advertisement for your projects. Now, on the other hand, if you let people know that to generate matching, they should take a look at all the projects and donate to more than one, our thought is that this can actually encourage more community engagement and like a kind of more full it can encourage new people to join the community more fully, right? So if a user is told, oh, like, well, my friend asked me to donate, but I know I've got to donate to like one or two other projects as well to really get matched. Well, now they're going to stay longer on the page. They're going to look through other projects in the round, and they might say like, oh, like, I saw this project, they had a cool looking header image, so I read the blurb, and oh, actually, like, that looks really cool, right? So now, potentially, by encouraging people to donate to more than one project, you are creating more user engagement and getting new people to join your community in a more full and holistic way. Because now, instead of just saying, oh, I know I have to go donate to my friend's project, they're looking around on their own and using their kind of own proclivities to find other projects that they like. So we think this is a trade-off, and you can think that one option is better or the other, and please just use whichever mechanism fits your needs better. Okay, and lastly, I'll give you a disclaimer that as far as like civil defense stuff goes, COCM is definitely not ironclad. All the tests we've done show it's much less gameable than quadratic funding, but exploits do still exist. And it's really meant to fit into a larger civil defense strategy, right? So using Passport is still important. Properly vetting the projects that applied year-round is still important. And I think I can share these slides. This must link to like a blog post, yeah, of our civil defense strategy, but we can leave that for later. And lastly, if you want to help improve the algorithm, like I said, I'm a PhD student. I'm writing a dissertation on COCM and related topics, and hearing your subjective opinions and experiences is super, super valuable for my research. So I'll even say right now, like, if you're a round manager and you are interested in talking to me after the round ends, in this meeting chat right now, feel free to just drop your Telegram handle or your email, and after I can get in touch with you. Obviously, you're not committing to anything by doing this, but if you want to help make the algorithm better and share your feedback, both positive and negative, after the round is over, yeah, I mean, we're always looking to improve, make the algorithm better, figure out what's working, what's not working for people. So yeah, let me know. And now we have some time for questions, and thank you for listening.
This was really great, Joe. Thank you so much for this. I just wanted to let you know that I left my TG and my email because for the Web3 and for the Web3 for Universities Community Round, we selected the option for QF and cluster matching. So I would be happy to give my feedback after the round. So thank you so much for this.
Of course, thank you.
This was awesome, y'all. Like, it is, it's amazing how protecting the machine pool is like something is proactive, like proactive protection, but also the actual analysis being performed uh, thanks to Passport. The ability that you have to flag a specific wallets is amazing because you can even add more variables to the calculations in the post round analysis. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, the Passport people are doing a fantastic job. I can't take any credit for that, but yeah, they're great.
Hey, I want to say hi to hey everyone. Hey Joel.
Hey, Koi,
Uh,
how's it going?
I'm good, man. Nice to talk to you again. It's good. It's nice to be here. Like I'm running another round this time. I saw that there is some. Yeah, I already shared my experience last time with you. Would love to share again if I have something. Something new that we are trying this time. Uh, we are not we choose to not use Passport because we are dealing with new communities, and this would like create a lot of friction for the community to donate.
Mm.
So we are planning to have like a list of onboarded wallets with some other infos like social media, cell phones, numbers, and this kind of stuff. So we're gonna use COCM and mix with this list to try to be even more precise, like with the round. So just to want to, because others can also experiment.
Totally, yeah. That's exciting. I'm excited to hear how it goes. Yeah, we've had some folks. I think that is one of the things with Passport. I mean, I guess both COCM and Passport create different types of friction, right? In Passport, now that they use like a machine learning model that's hidden to us, you're kind of at the whim of this model, and you know, if you're a new user who doesn't have a lot of on-chain activity, it can be rough. And in COCM, you know, if you're a single issue donor, like I said before, you won't have any impact on the matching results. But I think in a way, COCM might be have a little bit less friction for new users compared to Passport, in the sense that, you know, as long as you just take a minute to look at all the projects in a round and just donate to the ones you like you're probably going to be completely fine. And to me, that's one of the better things about COCM, is that like there can still be these weird edge cases where people don't generate matching because the algorithm just does, you know, weird, complicated stuff. But for most people, most of the time, if you just look at the projects and just donate to a few that you like, you're gonna be great. Donnie, I see that you have your hand raised. Feel free to hop on if you want.
I do. Thank you very much, Joel, and thank you for doing this. This is absolutely awesome. I very much appreciate all the insights. I do have a quick question, because I've been promoting people to utilize Gitcoin's collections and create collections. So if you have an application and you're in one of the rounds, to create a collection of, you know, 5, 6, 10 different projects that you particularly like, just in the time savings, because people, as we know, they don't like to go and sit and read a lot of things and look through stuff. If they can find very quickly, you know, okay, my guy, my friend, my project, you know, community lead member says these 10 are good, and then I pick 4 or 5 of them. Do you think that is like a viable method in order to make sure that their community members get the matching for the rounds that are using COCM?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, that should work. Yeah. So something funny will happen where, let's say if every single person followed one person's collection, right? And every single person donated to the same 5 projects, then COCM would start to smell something funny. But as long as not everybody's doing that, yeah, like that's completely fine.
Yeah, that was kind of my question and my wonder, because as I've been telling people that this was a good way to do it, you're like, yeah, but if everybody just donates 1 click to the entire collection, is that going to trigger it?
Yeah, so well, as far as so donating to, as long as the collection isn't every single project, yeah, that'll be completely fine. So there is a funny thing where, yeah, we've noticed that just as a byproduct of the way the algorithm works, single issue donors have their impact kind of squashed, and so do people that donate to every single project. Now, of course, if you're donating to every single project, you know, no matter what, you're kind of not really moving the needle, because the matching funds are a fixed size. So if you donate to every project, you're kind of just like, you know, not changing the proportions very much, right, by doing that, which is what's really important. But yeah, having collections, I think, is a great way of doing things. Sandra, yeah, let me answer your question. Is there a choice for grantees? There absolutely is. So in the round page in Manager, no. If you're a single grantee, it's not up to you. So the choice between COCM and quadratic funding is something that happens at the round level. So that's something that the round operator has got to decide. And I would recommend making sure, you know, the grantees and the round managers are all on the same page about what you're going to do. So once they make a decision about either COCM, quadratic funding, or a mix of both, then all of the grantees are paid out according to the same algorithm.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, like I was typing in the chat. Usually, like operators, they always specify like what is the methodology that they are going to use for matching distribution. I have seen a trend lately. I'm in the Gitcoin Delegates Council. I'm pretty much the majority of operators they've been choosing to use COCM because it is like it is an improvement over simple the simple quadratic funding. But it's like you said, it's not ironclad. But I feel like this is in a way influenced by the fact that Gitcoin use COCM for the open source rounds. You know, I kind of like I can say that operators in, let's say, community rounds and independent rounds, they feel confident in the decisions of Gitcoin by using CSCM over the simple QF formula. That's what I can understand from my experience.
Yeah, I think that especially in the OSS rounds, again, where we have these huge spread out communities, yeah, folks have been happy with COCM. By the way, just because the questions are slowing down, I want to make sure that if anything pops up, afterwards you can still reach me. So I'm going to drop my email in the chat right now. And I can stick around until the top of the hour. But yeah, if you have any questions after or something comes up, feel free to email me. Also, in past rounds, if time kind of allows me to, I've been super happy to do feature changes to the calculator if certain round managers have certain requests. So I can't promise anything because it does usually get quite busy, right, during the GGs. But yeah, let me know, and if there's a way to accommodate, any of your needs, I'll try my best to do it.
And for whoever that came late to the round, to the session, I've been recording since the beginning, and this is going to be published like within 24 hours. We're gonna be like sharing the recording out there, so yay, you don't miss like you won't miss the juicy information shared at the beginning of the session. It was amazing. I'm always like stuck when I get to experience an explanation by someone that been working so closely with real specific solution. So yeah, I'm so super grateful that I get to help host and participate in this session because it's been enlightening for me.
Well, thank you, Alejandro. I'm glad to be here, and I'm glad that I I was able to explain it correctly. That always feels good to hear because from my end, sometimes I get so deep in this work that I worry that I'm like speaking an alien language to other people when I talk about it. So if it was at least partially comprehensible, that's great.
But yeah, if we don't have any more questions, like I will consider that we wrap it up, and just a highlight of the why of this session is because this is part of the GG23 onboarding and education program being hosted by Let's Grow DAO. We wanted to have this knowledge not only for grant operators but also for grantees to understand how their matching is calculated in the background. Because I remember that when this improvement was introduced to the round, because I've been participating since GR15, I was very happy with it because sometimes the people with the most community members with the most money, they dominate the round. And for G23, besides of it's been used for a few rounds already, but now the introduction of the retro round and the segregation of mature builders from early projects, for me this is like a very much optimized for builders round, because the little guy gets to compete with other early projects, and you don't need to worry about the big guys with the big communities that, to be honest, has like a huge influence, because most of their community members are Web3 native, and it is really hard to compete. So yeah, I'm super excited about G23. This is part of the program that we are developing, and this is we're looking forward for this session to become evergreen knowledge out there that we can repurpose and get the highlights out of the session, and so on. So yeah, I'm super happy.
Awesome. Well, yeah, I agree that if the questions are slowing down, let's wrap it up. Thanks so much, Alejandro, for hosting this. And yeah, if anybody needs my email, it's there in the chat. I guess for the live recording, I can just say my email is joel@gitcoin.co. So yeah, send me an email if you want to talk, either feature request, question about COCM, or if you're interested in sharing your thoughts so that we can make the algorithm better. I would really appreciate it.
Awesome.
Yeah, I want to Wasabi, do you allow me to share about the workshop the Dev Guild will do
Yeah,
in
of
some
course.
minutes?
Please do.
I know you do. Sorry for asking permission on that. Basically, the Dev Guild will do a workshop to help understand and set up multisigs, which is we're gonna talk about safe multisig specifically, and this is the link to the Luma event. So if anyone has interest, you can also go there to learn a few more. So thanks a lot, Joel, for presenting to us, and thank you everyone.
Cool. All right. I think that I have the ability to end the meeting for everybody, so I will do that. Take care.
Okay, ciao.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Thank you everyone for coming. Ciao.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay, bye.